Good morning, each and every one of you. Just making sure that the volume is working. We're going to be talking this morning about why our movement and our mindset matters so much as we start moving. Sorry about that. I lost internet connection momentarily. I just made sure it was on the right setting, which it is now. So, to repeat that just in case it disappeared, we're going to talk about why our mindset and our movement matter so much as we start getting that little bit older. And this can start to happen as we start to get into our late 30s if we allow it, okay? Because a lot of what we decide is going to happen to us as we get older is due to what you see, what you hear, what you're fed by social media, especially. Yeah, maybe not so much so now with the social media side of things, because there are a lot more people talking about longevity, anti-aging, that sort of thing. But you still see people walking around out there a little bit older, and you see how they're moving. And in our mind, we get a mindset that, right, that must be how it's going to be as I get older. And for some people, they start to think about that quite early in their life. And you probably know people who start to move like they're older when they're still young. Now, I'm classing 50, 60, 70 as young. I know some of you may giggle at that, but I'm still classing that as young because, again, of what I see in my classes. So as a longevity, anti-aging coach, falls prevention specialist, and a clinician for stress, anxiety, and chronic pain, all of that stuff sits together. It most definitely does. And it all starts with the way that we think. So from a very young age, we are fed, I guess, an image of what an older adult looks like as they get older. Tends to be sitting in a chair, in a dressing gown, with a cup of tea. Yes? I think the thing that brought this point home was when I was putting together some movements for one of my classes. It was a dance, because as most of you know, I don't just teach balance, I teach cardio as well for over 55s. Yeah? And I was putting something together and he was watching me. And his comment was, "Who are you making that for?" And I said, "For my people." And he's, "But like, aren't they over this age?" Because I deal with over 55 up to 90. Yeah. My eldest person in one of my classes is 95, still going strong, still skipping, hopping, jumping. And he said, "They can do that?" And I've gone, "Yes." So he was 18 at the time. So his perception as an 18-year-old, remember, doesn't watch a lot of TV because it's all about their social media and things like that. So his perception was, you get to a certain age, and I think in their minds it's around that 60 age. I'm 60 next year. So when I heard that, I thought, oh my goodness, our young people's perception of us is that we're going to get old and we're going to start to move old. And that's one of the things, because that's what we see. Mirror neurons. So you know I'm always going to bring neuroplasticity into it. So for those of you that don't know, neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change. So it's the ability for us as a human being to take control and to change the way our thought processes are. Because believe it or not, a lot of what happens to us as we get older is the way we think. Because of what you see, that mirror neuron of seeing our older adults, starting to hunch over and those little shorter steps. You kind of feel, the thought that people say to me, well, I don't want to end up like that. Or shoot me if I need to go into aged care. But then we don't want to follow through with the things that we need to do to make sure that we don't end up in there. And so much of it starts with your daily movement. So 3 weeks ago, I did one on 2 things that you can do to bring exercise and movement into your day, especially if you have a job and you're sedentary. So sitting and standing out of your chair with purpose without using your hands is one of those things, yeah? Because as we get older, we tend to plop in the chair. And even doing those motions, yeah, that getting out, pushing yourself out of the chair, putting your hands on your legs to sit, putting your hands on the chair to sit, that starts to signal to your body that you don't need to utilize the body in that manner anymore. So that old saying, if you do not use it, you lose it, couldn't be any truer with everything. As an anti-aging coach and a falls prevention specialist, the things that I see in my class, all my classes, is it's the lack of confidence that starts to creep in when something has happened to you, and that can happen really early. So you may have an accident in your 30s, 40s that puts fear in you. If you get to the point where you've got fear of movement for whatever reason, whatever happened to you, you've got a fear of movement moving forward, then that's going to stop you. Because here's the thing. In all the talks that I've given, I'm always talking about the sympathetic part of our nervous system. That sympathetic part of your nervous system is there to keep you alive, and it's literally just there to keep you safe. And remember, it doesn't know the difference between something that happened to you today, something that happened to you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. And what I mean by that is if you go back and you relive a negative event from your past, your physiology will return to the way it was on the day that that happened. If you haven't put these things to bed and you haven't, I'm not going to say use the word dealt with, because we don't want to dig things up and relive them. No, that's not what we want to do. Those things have happened to you. Yes, they've happened. It's in the past. Remember, if you live in the past, you suffer from depression. If you're constantly worried about your future, you're stressed and anxious. It's only when we live in the now that you can, in your present, it's only when you live in your present that you are truly going to get a handle on everything in your life. Yes? Remember, that's what I teach people how to do. I teach you to stop you from keep going back there and reliving these things physiologically. Can you imagine? Okay, so if that thought process you go through, so let's say you have had a major fall, because that's what we're talking about now. We're talking about why we start to slow down and why our movement changes so much as we get older. If you allow the things from your past to affect you in your now, this is how we end up down that road. And everyone says to me, I don't want to end up in aged care, yeah? Because invariably you may have had to see your parents in one, or you visited somebody in one, and you know what it's like in there. And you know you don't want to go there. We have got to do something about it. You can't just sit there and think, oh, I'll start that next week. I'll think about that next week. No, you can't do that. It starts with how you're living every moment of your day. And it can be really simple to fix. It can. Because if you're living under the control of your autonomic nervous system, yeah, and your sympathetic nervous system is in control, that is not the thinking part of your brain. That's reacting. Yeah. So it's reacting to things that are happening to you. Yeah. So something happens, we react. And it's like Groundhog Day, guys. Are you living a Groundhog Day? Because it's certainly not going to help you physically, and it's not going to help you mentally. So the mirror imaging that we see wherever you see it, TV, social media, out and about, everyone leaning on their trolleys, yeah? But that's how I'm going to end up. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you change the way you move and you change mostly your mindset. If you have a mindset of longevity and you live your life saying to yourself, I've got this. I'm going to live a long, healthy life. Yeah? And you don't allow the things from your past to keep coming in and sabotaging you, because that's what you're allowing to happen. You keep self-sabotaging yourself by keep reliving your things in your past or worrying about the stuff that's going to happen in the future. And I know a lot of people do, because I speak to a lot of older adults. So I know that as soon as we start to lose our confidence, we allow these negative thoughts to creep into our heads. You may not show that to anyone. You may not even mention it to anybody, because it comes in and it goes out. Yeah, it comes in and it goes out. You have the thought, you push it down. You have the thought, you push it down. But have you actually come to terms with the fact that we need to cut that neural pathway to those thought processes? If you don't do that, you can't move forward, no matter what it is, no matter what thing happened to you in the past, whether it was a physical or emotional. So that movement, it's being purposeful with your movement all the time. And how much pain you are in also depends on your mindset. Everything does. I know some people find that really, really hard to swallow, that pill of chronic pain and being able to fix that with the way you think. But it's absolutely so possible, because I've seen so many people through it. I think I mentioned last week, especially things like fibromyalgia or pain that moves around the body. That's telling you it's neuroplastic. It's telling you that you have an unneed met somewhere in the body. Where is that unmet need? Did I say unneed met? Unmet need. I think I might have done. Who cares? You know what I mean. So the reason we start to lose the ability for, all of these flowing functional movements that we have when we're younger is purely because you don't do it. And because of your mindset. I'm too old to do that. Oh, I don't even want to hear anyone say, I'm too old. Cut that out of your vocabulary. If I've got a 95-year-old in my class who's still got arthritis and all the other things that we get, oh, I bet she's really healthy and blah, she's still got all the stuff that everyone else has. You start to degenerate when you're 20. You start to degenerate in your 20s. We all do. It's whether you discover the degeneration or not that makes the difference. Because if you don't know you got it, your brain doesn't know. Well, it kind of does. It knows what's going on deep down inside. And you don't catastrophize over these things. Guess what? It doesn't present a problem. Our brains and our bodies are just so freaking amazing. If we work with them, we get what? We can have the best out of what we have, yeah? Like I said, I'm 60 next year. I don't feel it. I don't think it. I don't think I look it. And again, it's that mindset. It's the way we think about these things. So remember, I'm here if you want a little bit of guidance on things that you are struggling with, whether it be physical or mental. You can either deal with that one-on-one, online, live, depends on where you live. We can sort that out. I'll pop the link in the comments for booking an appointment with me, free phone conversation for us to have a chat. If that's what you'd like to do. If not, think about what I've said today. Yeah, I'm always talking about living in the now, whether it's physical, mental, it makes no difference, guys. So you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see some of you very soon. And really try not to do the following. When you get out of your chair, tap your feet before you get out of the chair. Because doing this does three things. It stimulates your nervous system. It's telling your body, I'm getting ready to move. It's actually getting the muscles ready for movement. So it flushes lactic acid that is built up while you're sitting. So that's where you get pain while you're sitting, build up of lactic acid. And the third thing is you're making your bones stronger. Stand with purpose every time and sit with purpose every time. It's such a tiny little thing that you can do to make yourself feel younger and more vital, because it's all in our mind and the way we think. Have an awesome day, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Not sure what I'm going to talk about next week. Remember, if you have an idea or you do want me to talk about something, feel free, pop it in the chat, #replay if you're watching this on replay. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.